Okay, we are live. So, okay, go ape shit.
I just want to say, holy fuck! Where did you find this guy?
Uh, the deepest, darkest pits of hell. I guess I'm not exactly sure.
Now,
I I I I, I
my
blame
question
this.
is, did he find you or did you find him?
You know, that is a really good question. I'm not exactly sure.
I'll be the nice one. I thought he was well behaved. He wasn't like as big of a dick as most flat earthers, so I'm going to be nice and give him some compliment. But he was just a stupid. But he was nice.
Well, no, the whole grasping at straws for like the last hour was, oh my god, painful.
That was pretty bad. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Hello.
Hello, Ness.
Hello.
Concepts seem to be lost upon him, like every flat earther. They're just they clutch at anything they could possibly.
No, he pulled like
latch
the worst.
onto.
He pulled the worst case Anthony Riley. You know, every time that you
Oh my God.
every time you debunk him, he comes up with some other batshit assertion to try to save himself, and it just buries him even more, and he doesn't even realize it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is as bad as soundly found curvature because of electrolysis from the power lines. You know, what the fuck?
Color changes the size of an object. Come on, please.
Well, I liked at one point he says that it doesn't look like it's changing sizes because you're only seeing one it's a light source that's emitting light. You know, it's not a reflected source. Only reflected sources change size. I actually took the time to record a 5 or 7 second video of a candle flame from like 6 inches away and then from 3 feet away. It's emitting light and changing size.
Yeah.
Yeah, why would it matter? What in his mind made him think that it would matter one way or another?
I don't fucking know. I mean, I've been trying to say, listen, take a car, have one reflect light, have one emit it. Is it going to change its size? No. Then why the fuck is this a point you're bringing up? I don't know, dude.
I think he was trying to go to the fact that there's something called dynamic range, right? And the eye and the cameras do have a different dynamic range. We all agree upon that. But how does that affect an angular size of something? I don't know how he made that leap.
Well, I'm going to share this because I took the time to fucking record it, and by God, it's going to be seen.
It's going to be seen. Yeah, damn it.
Now, this is a candle I put on my floor, and like I said, from 6 inches away to about 3 feet away. The dude's a fucking retard. A light source that's emitting light still changes size, you fucking moron.
So yeah, that was a thing that happened. Hi, Micro. Glad you could join us.
I fucking hate my life.
I know. It's okay. We hate you too, so it all works out.
Oh, good.
I'm surprised any of us are still alive after all this shit.
Like
really?
He's literally broken anatomy. My brain is hurting despite having no nociceptors in it. He somehow made my brain neurons express a receptor they shouldn't have.
Yeah, that's a thing that would happen. So
also, I love that he brought up the image on your image on his computer monitor, because computer monitors don't have all the colors. They only able to admit 3 different colors.
Yeah, in certain combination was it
certain combinations.
It's so red, blue, and green, right?
Yeah, and in order to make yellow, for example, you use green and red.
Yes, exactly.
So in other words, if what he's saying is true, that would mean that when you see a yellow object on a computer screen, it would look like it's a different distance away than when you see a yellow object in real life.
I mean, I didn't. I was like, I fucking can't, bro, dude. If I take, both of the R's in my logo are the same size, and so I just flipped one of them upside down and changed the color. But apparently, by changing the color, I changed the size of it.
Actually, they're not. I got to tell you, it is about 0.54 pixels off.
Yeah, Steve, go fuck yourself. Yeah. But I was like, listen, if you take a car and you like, I don't know, put fucking LEDs and shit on it to get that shit to glow, it will be illuminating. If I take an angular size measure of the damn thing and then compare it to another car at the same distance, but didn't have those fucking LEDs on it, is he really saying that it's going to change in angular size, or that my observation would be pretty much flawed in that case?
He's literally saying that when you turn on a light bulb, it should
change size in your eyes and in the camera. I'm like, what the actual fuck are you talking about, dude? This doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Oh, and different wavelengths of light. That just is, so long as it's in a visual spectrum, you're going to see different colors, but that's not going to change the size and shape of the shit that's actually emitting it.
No, Sam,
is he coming in? I thought he was. He said to join us.
I did give him the link, and I said I would send the link first, and I did.
And he is part of the Hangout chat. Whether or not he joins or not is up to him. But oh my god, I want to rip this dude a new asshole. Oh my god.
Yeah, well, we were dealing with the Betty levels of retard right there.
The first facepalm moment, which I referred to Nature Hagger because he's an idiot too when it comes to calendars. He put June and July 6 months apart.
Yep.
That was funny. Yeah, it was funny.
Oh man, you know what? I was so in the moment, I didn't catch that.
You did. I know you didn't call him out on it, but we all did in the live chat.
Honestly, we can't really blame you for that. Your brain was under a serious attack from stupid.
Steve, chew then speak. Jesus Christ.
I'm not. I'm only having soda.
you say with the most drunken voice ever.
It's Microblog is the one that sounds like he has a potato in his throat.
And Reg, when I said that you were going to lose an argument with him on Skype about Jaren's experiment, there is a valid reason for that, because Jaren actually does demonstrate opposite rotation to the center, when looking at that glass dome at a very shallow angle. However, what Jaren doesn't point out is that those stars are constantly changing, because the stars that are on the iPad screen are no longer in the same field of view.
Yeah, well, that's why, and not only that, but his starting point is all fucked up, because his starting point is from he's projecting an image of the stars already rotating, and that shit doesn't work. That's so much.
Their actual new model now has the dome, and then the stars are a flat plane above the dome. So
are you fucking kidding me now?
Yeah.
No.
Oh fuck.
This is why I was trying to tell you to watch Jaren's video before you tried to debunk it, because he comes up with new arguments.
You're asking me to watch a Jarenism video. Listen, Sean,
that's like asking him to get herpes before he gets AIDS. Like, that's not a good.
I understand. I understand you want me to die quickly because you're kind of noted in my will, but fuck you, dude.
George wants to get in if he can.
George who?
I welcome anyone to challenge that analogy. I welcome anyone to challenge that analogy. I think it's perfect.
No. It's not herpes. It would be intellectual AIDS, because then it has the chance of actually killing him.
The little magnifying glass Jaren uses also has a secondary flaw. It places a dome. It's not showing the observer inside of the dome. They have to be well underneath it and at a very shallow angle, and it's not centered on the North Star, because it's relying entirely on magnification and refraction.
Mm-hmm. Not only that, but apparently the dome was completely solid.
And when this dude was sitting there trying to do his little diagram, he placed his little stick figure guy inside the dome, which is not what Jaren shows. If you are actually inside of that, there is zero distortion, because that's the way refraction works.
Exactly. His starting point was fucked up. His viewing angle was fucked up, and also apparently the dome is completely solid. So, yeah, good luck with that. So apparently, guys, we should be completely surrounded by glass.
Well, it's even worse, because you know how everybody looking south has that little clockwise rotation thing going on. There would have to be. It's not exactly a dome. It would have to be shaped like a dome that dips back down in the center towards a point.
Yeah. It's essentially the whole dome idea is a big batch of bullshit. And there were many different ways one could actually attack that assertion. Well, I just decided to attack it. I just decided to attack it in a way that we would see stars traversing across the horizon. Of course.
Now that I think about that model, though, if you cut that in half and did a cross section of it, it would look like a big old butt. So Flat Earth Asshole definitely makes his name at this point.
There you go.
Rocket Man wants to come in.
I already sent him the link.
Okay.
And also, I want to say hello to a few people. Hello, George. Hello, Hannah. And welcome also to the Clusterfuck Sam. Let me start with George. George, very quickly, what did you think about that clusterfuck of a hangout I just had?
Oh, well, hello there, Ed. I must say I can only think of a couple times in my life where I've experienced more excruciating pain.
That's deep, bro.
Barbed wire catheter, maybe?
Catheter?
No, barbed wire catheter.
Barbed wire catheter. Did you ring positive at the TSA? That kind of thing?
Well, obviously you weren't watching any of the side chat. I was trying to get your attention earlier. I sensed your pain and your frustration, and I know how it goes when you're trying to explain someone that a concept to someone that has a thick skull and it's not getting through, and you just get flustered. And I kind of thought maybe you could use some new blood in there to try to approach it from a different point, but it didn't happen. But anyway,
it was meant to say a one-on-one.
That last hour was just wasted time.
Wait, are you saying you wanted to come in to put a different perspective on it?
Let's put perspective in quotes.
Okay, perfect. Next, Hannah. Hi, dear. So tell me, what did you think of that clusterfuck?
I never knew to this day how ass cancer would feel, but I went to the bathroom several times and I was able to confirm I indeed now have ass cancer. So thank you, Ed, for giving everybody who watched that hangout a little tiny tumor in their butthole.
Well, now you ruined his hopes for anal.
Wow. Not gonna go there. Rocket Man, were you?
Are you?
What were your thoughts on that?
Ass cancer isn't a communicable disease.
Man,
it is now.
When he started going off on the wavelength stuff, I was just sitting here banging my head against the desk.
Me too.
So, Jared, what say you? Oh, were you not done recommending? There was something else you want to say?
No, that was just it. I was just saying, he has no idea how light works.
Well, I'm just going to say that if wavelength affects angular size, I'm going to paint my penis green.
No, you should paint it blue.
Wait, red. No, red.
Beat you to it.
Are you, Sam? Did
on
you
the whole thing on
you
wavelength?
already painted your penis green?
I can neither confirm nor deny that, but I can.
I think it has to do with more with porn and Cheetos.
Why would it be green then?
Yeah,
it would be
orange. He tried the orange.
Sam, if your dick is green, you got bigger issues than flat Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, strictly speaking, wavelength will change angular size, but it's so minute as to be irrelevant. I mean, whenever light of different wavelength passes through a lens, it refracts a little bit differently, and it will hit different spots on the retina, which does
your brain correct for that.
Please don't interrupt me. Let me finish. But it's so minute when you're measuring, say, for example, the sun at 0.52 degrees. I mean, you're looking at it on the order of arc seconds, which isn't going to matter. And the wavelength of light, the spectrum of light that we perceive, of course, is a very narrow spectrum on the order of an octave. It goes from about 350 nanometers up to around 700 nanometers for red. But the thing that puzzled me is how he introduced this concept of, what was it, red light, or different wavelengths travel different distances. Like I didn't quite get where that came up, because all light travels the same distance.
I think it's his misconception that because the atmosphere filters out certain wavelengths faster, in less distance.
Wait, is that what? Okay.
Yeah. Which is why, of course, sunsets turn red instead of the normal white to yellow that the sun normally is.
He did that before in his video that he made previously.
Yeah. That's why I was trying to see, okay, dude, you're saying wavelength matters. I'm measuring angular size. How do the two connect? I didn't hear a single case of, or I didn't hear a single good argument as to how they do indeed connect. Because if I'm able to see the outline of the object, then I'm able to see the outline of the object.
Yeah. Somehow I think he was trying to tie in wavelength, distance between wave crests or troughs on wave to somehow distance on a measurement size, that somehow light at a longer wavelength would make the object seem bigger or longer. I just didn't quite follow that one at all.
Neither did I.
The flaw with his logic, though, is because Red used the same filter as well as I did throughout the entire video, or in his case, pictures, the wavelength was irrelevant.
Yeah. I mean, he also said that the filter filtered out certain wavelengths. No, it doesn't. It filtered out the intensity.
Well, I think
that's what my filter does. Is it filters out the intensity. All I did was take the intensity of the light coming into my camera way the fuck down, so I could see the actual angular size of the object.
Yeah, I think maybe one way you could have, I don't know if it would have approached him or not, is just just limited the discussion initially to monochromatic light, say just the green part of the spectrum, and ask them about, now if you view a green object up close or in the distance, is it going to change angular size? And then if you increase or decrease the intensity of, say, a green ball 100 feet out away from you, is the intensity going to change or decrease, increase the diameter of the ball? Maybe just restricting it to monochromatic light first, and then take them into the light spectrum.
I mean, what I could possibly do to make this, solid, is I could have my camera staring at a light bulb. And I could have that light bulb on and then off. Off, it won't be emitting any light. It will be reflecting whatever light is there. Yeah. Then, after I put a solar filter on the camera and then turn the light on, because a light, at least the light bulbs I have, would be bright enough to make it past the solar filter, and then measure it again between the two images, the two pictures that I take, you would actually see that they are the exact same size. So therefore, whether the light is on or off, it's not going to matter, because I'm still seeing the actual shape of the damn thing. And if I see
the most pointless experiment in the history of experiments. Apparently, this type of experiment is needed so that a flat earther can know that this type of argumentation should not ever be made again.
Actually, if I can address something in the chat that's off topic, and I'm sorry, but Emmerich, the stream is hanging every now and then because for the last several days and for the next several days, YouTube is simulating what might happen if they remove net neutrality. They're doing it in protest for this FCC guy saying that they're going to renege the entire net neutrality laws that were passed a couple years back. So
is this only in the US or is it global?
They're doing it at the server level, so it's global.
Oh. So in other words, they're net neutrality, something that's not going to happen to me.
Net neutrality is US only, but it's the way it's set up right now. Everybody gets equal bandwidth, regardless of whether they're paying the internet service providers or not. If they remove those rules, then say Comcast can throttle Netflix for not paying them X amount of dollars for the extra bandwidth.
Yeah, this is a very.
Why do I have to be roped into that program?
Hang on, let me also go back to Mr. Part-Time Vegan here. He says here, if you're a fan of Red, you should at least agree that he contradicted himself a few times. I'm going to have to call bullshit on that, and I would like to invite you into this hangout so you can tell me exactly where and when I contradicted myself. And we can also go back to the hangout, which is still processing on. Oh wait, still processing. Well, after it's done processing, we can go back to the hangout and we can see exactly if I did or did not contradict myself.
It shouldn't take too long. It's under 2 hours. So,
Red, I'd like to make a suggestion on this filter experiment that you're thinking about conducting on looking at angular size, is maybe just get a soft light bulb, incandescent bulb, maybe around 60 watts, and do this indoors where you turn it on and off. And rather than putting your solar filter on, get like a soft smoke piece of glass, so that you're doing it all in a smooth, continuous video where you move the smoke filter in front of the lens as the bulb is on, so one can see as you're passing the filter in front of the camera that nothing is changing, rather than stopping and putting the filter on and then starting up again.
Yeah, I'll figure out some way of doing it. I just want to tell Mr. Alkaline Artist or Part-Time Vegan, you're actually in the external chat to this Hangout where you can just click on and enter the Hangout. So yeah, you have been invited. You can enter at any time. Well, as if once you're actually in that chat, just let me know, and then I will ask one of these fuckheads to leave.
Please come in.
Also, part-time vegan is, I think the term you're looking for is omnivore.
Just in case.
So you mean human?
Hold on. I typed a message in the external chat, so you should get a notification popping up where I typed that thing in. So when you look at that Hangout, just click it and come on in.
Exactly. And also Sam just left, so now you have room to come on in.
Well, I got to tell you, I learned something on that debate, though. I mean, I did learn that red is red, so I will give him.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey,
he is correct, is he not? Red is red.
I learned that he's an idiot.
I learned that June and July are 6 months apart. That blew my mind.
I was going to get to that. Thank you, Sean, for bringing that.
Oh, that was so beautiful.
Okay, all right, hang on. I know you want to go apeshit on it. So, Jared, you have the floor.
Holy fucking shit, dude. Okay, I normally don't get vapor lock from the amount of stupidity that is seen. But holy shit, please tell me this guy is in the running for Dumb Fuck of the Year now. If he's not, I'm nominating him right now.
Too late. Well, I already did. Literally, I already did in the live chat during the debate.
Okay. Well,
I was trying to get it on air, but if you're going to try to debunk a model, at least try to understand it. So when you're going to talk about orbital distances and differences in relative locations, get them fucking right in your description. I understand. You're going to have an issue with scale, so you can actually see the things. I'll give you that. But 1 month apart is not 180 degrees out. What the fuck?
Yeah, and
exactly.
Also, there was this part where he I don't even remember what he brought up, but I just bashed my face against my desk, and he goes, "Did you just face desk?" And I go, "Oh no, not at all." Oh my god!
He fully expected you to react like that.
I think that's when he pulled up the whole thing about if it's emitting light, it won't look like it changes sizes.
Yeah, it was.
And that's when I said, okay, I'm going to go record a candle because it's emitting light.
I think it was the beginning of that whole thing. Not sure what to call it.
Well, the idea.
Psychotic episode.
Yeah. So
it was something when he said dome, a dome Earth or something like that, and that's when.
Okay, he's actually in the chat now, so somebody's got to go.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, how about this, Sam? Since you usually don't give a shit about flat Earth, can you duck out?
No, I'll dip. I'll dip.
No, you ain't dipping.
Bye.
No, you ain't dipping. God
Too late.
fucking damn it!
What do you care? You have her fucking phone number.
Yeah.
Just text her.
No, it's okay. I'll get her back.
It's a long distance relationship. You think they stop at texting?
I was going to say, he wants to have a group experience with her.
I was trying not to go there for my own sanity.
Sorry, Red.
Sanity, but
sorry, Red. I'm not into Tensims.
Really?
Hey, Dave, don't knock until you try it.
Well, considering the lack of females in the room right now,
you ask one of these fuckheads to leave so you can come back. There will be a permanent spot open, so make sure you utilize it.
He's in.
Welcome.
Can y'all hear me?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
How are you? Or you can come back in. So just know there'll be a permanent spot open.
Are you talking to me?
No, he's talking.
I think it's talking to Hannah.
Not up for debate now, so you know what to do. See you in a bit.
Oh, he called her.
Okay, so she'll be coming back. She'll be coming back in. So which one of you kind of wants to fuck off and leave for a bit?
I'll go ahead.
Okay. See you later, George. Thanks for dropping.
All right.
Yeah.
Take care.
See ya.
Okay, so Mr. Part-Time.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and reply to some of the things that these other people have said while we're waiting for somebody to come on in.
There were a few things I wanted to talk about was pertaining to the geocentric model you're talking about.
I thought you wanted to reply to what we were actually saying here now.
I mean, I didn't even hear what you guys were saying. I was reading the comment.
Okay, then I'll start with the most recent one.
Okay.
Your depiction showing the difference in the location of the Earth as per the heliocentric model, the standard model, from June to July. That was not 1 month difference. That was closer to 6.
Yeah.
That was half a year, yeah. July and June aren't half a year apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want it to be half a year apart because
why did you put June and July?
You put June and July under them.
Oh,
you said
oh.
They're
June and July are not 6 months apart.
They're contiguous.
Okay, my bad. Like I said, I wasn't really prepared. That's why I want to do over.
Let me say something about that.
Help you.
Let me say something about that though. You say you can see the same stars year round, and you can't. Okay, that's just false. If you're looking towards the North Pole, yes, you can see the same stars.
Or the south.
Or the south. But the stars along the ecliptic, the so-called constellations and all that, you can only see those part of the year. There are seasonal stars. There are spring constellations, winter constellations, summer constellations, and fall constellations. All you have to do is do a Google search, and you can see what times of the year those different constellations are viewable at night.
So you're saying that along the equator, throughout the year, there are different stars?
Along the ecliptic. Along the ecliptic.
All right, I'll Google that right now.
Let me put it this way.
If you look at ecliptic is, I think.
If you look at Orion at midnight when it's like straight south from you, or north if you're in the southern hemisphere, if you wait 6 months and then check again at midnight, you will not see Orion at all.
Well, okay, is that so are you guys, let me get this straight. Are you guys saying that, let's say we'll give a star percentage. So let's say we look at the sky right now, and 6 months later, we only see 50% of the stars that we just saw. Are we going to see 100% new stars?
It depends on your location.
That depends on where, how far north or south you are.
Yeah,
when you said that we should be seeing different stars depending on where we are in our orbit around the sun, that's actually true, and we do. So when flat earthers say we don't, we always see the same. Those people have never looked up.
Well, there's some stars we'll always see year round. The circumpolar stars we will always see.
Yeah, exactly.
If you are on the hemisphere.
Why don't you go play with it? Go get Stellarium and go play with it. Try different locations and see what stars you see in those locations. It's a great. It works.
I'd rather get actual pictures because from what I've researched is no matter where you are, I mean, give or take a few stars, you're going to basically see the same stars every night.
No.
Because part-time, do me a favor. Can you turn the gain down on your microphone?
Yeah, you're clipping on your mic.
I'll turn it down.
I'll also turn them down.
No, that won't help. That's just the volume.
Are we good? Is that better?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, listen, part-time. Listen. If you, I don't. What part of the country do you live in, or what part of the world?
I'm in America.
Okay, so you're in the northern hemisphere.
Yeah.
So if you stand south and you look south, the stars you see tonight, you will not see in the sky 6 months from now.
Mm-hmm. Because they will be at that position in the sky when it's daytime.
Yeah, you will not see them 6 months from now. Now, if you stand outside tonight and you look north at Polaris, the stars you see around Polaris and in the northern hemisphere, like the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper, and all those, you will see those 6 months from now because you're looking away from the ecliptic. You're looking at the polar stars. But if you're looking towards the ecliptic, south, in our case, you will not see the stars you see tonight 6 months from now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, correct. I will write this down and I'll look into it. Let me see.
No, go out tonight, some point around here if you have clear skies. Take a picture in the same direction and then set an alarm or calendar something for 6 months from now to go out and take the picture. Take the picture in the same direction. You'll see that you won't see the same thing.
If you just go to some astronomy websites and look up what time of the year certain constellations are visible, they will show you that this constellation is visible from, say, September 13th to January 31st or something like that. And during that time of the year, you can see that constellation. But during other times of the year, you won't be able to see it. It's very well documented. Everybody that is into astronomy knows what seasons the constellations are visible, and it's all over the web. All you got to do is go to an astronomy website and do a Google search on it.
So let's say I'm on the equator, okay? Mm-hmm. I'm on the equator right now, and I look straight up I put my head literally parallel straight up, okay?
And it's called the zenith.
Yeah.
So are you telling me that the Egyptians saw different stars every night?
The Egyptians weren't on the equator.
Isn't Egypt really close to the equator?
Close, but not on the equator.
It's not on the equator.
No, they don't see different stars every night, but they don't see the same stars 6 months apart.
Yeah, there is still a progression due to the tilt of Earth's axis.
They change about 1 degree every day.
Correct. And so after you have a entire course of a year, some stars that were going to be in view are no longer going to be, then new stars will come in, and then it'll go right back to, well, normal, or at least your starting point when you start your observation. Don't believe me? Do it yourself. But I would agree with Steve on this. Go to Stellarium or whatever and actually do that observation yourself, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
No, I have Stellarium.
Another thing real quick, the upcoming total eclipse that's in August, you can actually go and see, and you can pick any longitude that's in the path of totality and put it in Stellarium, and it'll actually show you at what time it's going to be a total eclipse. And it actually gets dark and the stars come out. It's a model that works. It is a predictive ability. You can actually use Stellarium to predict when an eclipse is going to occur, and then go find the table of all the cities that the total eclipse is going to be seen at, and see if there's a correlation there. If it is, then the model works. It's a round Earth model that works.
Yes.
I've done it.
So Orion, I think Orion is visible primarily in the winter and the spring or something like that. I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, right now Orion.
It's a winter constellation here.
Yeah, Orion right now I believe is just like 15, 20 degrees right of the sun.
Shall I put up Stellarium? I have it.
Sure. So, but Orion is easily spottable, right? Everybody recognizes the belt, and if you look, for your location, you can see at what time of the year Orion comes above the horizon, and what time of the year it would, or what time of the night it's back below the horizon, and those two times shift a little bit every day until it finally it won't, it may come up above the horizon just before dawn, but then it goes away, and then there's a little bit more, it won't come up at all because it's basically on the other side of the sun.
Yep.
Correct. Okay. I got something else.
Actually, can I bring it to a certain spot?
Good.
Okay. Some people said that, they might be able to decipher what the hell you were telling me. Can we go back to the angular size thing? Because I still want to know about what you were getting at with wavelength, why you were bringing that up. You know, just start from the beginning. I was doing an observation. You brought this up. How does this relate, and what does this do for the validity of my observation? Go.
Well, I was just trying to say that your camera with the solar flare and everything interprets
Solar
light.
filter.
Solar. Okay, sorry. Solar filter interprets light differently than the human eye. So even though that you're seeing the same shape of the sun, you said that the wavelength doesn't matter. And I was trying to explain that the wavelength does matter. And in fact, what your solar filter is doing is only seeing a specific wavelength. So of course the sun's going to stay the same size because it's only filtering to that specific wavelength.
Why
So-
does the wavelength matter?
Hang on. Question. If that is the case,
Yes.
then why is the light that is still seen from the sun white?
What do you mean?
The actual illumination you see of the sun when viewed through certain solar films and filters, like the ones that Sean and Red were using, the color of the light was still white, which means it was the entire spectrum, not just an individual wavelength.
Mine kind of gave it a little bit of an orangey hue or whatever.
Yeah, but not that much.
The films that me and Red use, the films that me and Red use, the films that me and Red use are not an equilateral filter. They do filter out more blue, but they still leave in all of the other colors. They're just
and that's
highly
fine.
Well, there you
But
go.
regardless, if you have the same wavelength the entire duration, if you're taking a photo every 30 minutes and you're in the same wavelength, it wouldn't make a difference.
Yes, correct.
That's not
So as long as you're in the same filter the entire time, why would it matter to change the angular size of the diameter? It wouldn't have any effect on it.
If that were true, if the wavelength mattered on how the things we looked at changed in sizes, everything you saw would be like on an acid trip.
No, because
it's just not true. The wavelength is irrelevant to the size of an object.
I'm trying to tell you this, that our eye interprets light differently than the camera does. That's what I'm trying to explain.
It has a different dynamic range, but that doesn't change the angular diameter of things.
Well, do our eyes have solar filters on it?
No, but the eye has a much higher dynamic
do.
range.
It's called eyelid.
It's like 20 stops.
It's an intensity filter. It's not going to be relevant in the process that we're talking about.
Also, your eyes do have solar filters. They're called eyelids.
I mean, when I did my observation, or I should say, when myself and Sean did this observation, we had a solar filter that confirmed that the angular size of the sun does not change. Other people use different types of solar filters which filter out more of a certain wavelength of light. They also reach the same conclusion. This means that whatever wavelength it is or is not filtering is irrelevant to coming to the conclusion that the angular size of the sun does not change. So
I don't agree with that conclusion. I don't agree with that conclusion.
Well, you came up with a statement.
Hang on. Then you would be in direct opposition to every single piece of evidence anyone has ever taken in the entire history forever when they actually do this observation through a solar filter that's able to filter out.
No, that's a false dichotomy. That's a false dichotomy. But
please tell me what false dichotomy is, because I don't think you know what it is. You keep using that term. I don't think you means what it thinks.
You're telling me, if I don't agree with X, then only Y. That's what you're telling me.
In some cases, that is true.
No. Well, I'm saying in his case, what he's telling me.
Wait. Are you denying that in some cases there are only two options?
No.
You just did. Okay, fair enough.
Wait. What are you talking about?
Because,
I just said no.
I asked you if I literally just asked you if there are some cases where if X is where there's only X and Y, and you said no. So you're not. That would mean
okay,
you're dead.
I really don't know what you're talking about. But what were you trying to say, Red?
Basically, you just fucked yourself and you didn't even know it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Awesome.
Yeah. Because what you were saying is that your expectation and your refusal to agree with the evidence provided flies in the face of everyone who's
No,
made
no,
the
no. See,
observation
this is.
and has seen the same damn thing.
I love. See, here's the issue. You guys are telling me what I'm saying, and then you're fighting what you're telling me what I'm saying.
Okay, part-time, what are you saying?
We are fighting.
I'm saying our eyes interpret light differently than the solar filter does. And I'm saying
you said it interprets light differently than a camera.
Also,
Right.
neither a camera nor our eyes
interpret. And how does our eye interpret light?
What does a solar filter do?
it blocks out. I think Red explained it. It blocks out glare or something.
Intensity,
right. and that's the only difference.
It's honestly I'm only filtering out the intensity of the light it is emitting. I am not doing anything to change the shape of the fucking thing. If I'm looking at a bright light and I make it dimmer, is the object that is emitting the light going to change in angular size? No, it isn't.
Wait, no. It will. Well, to a human eye.
How in the fuck does that work?
No, it won't.
It won't.
No, it won't.
Okay,
let me see if I can put this in a way he'll understand. What you are now saying is that if we look at a light bulb that's not turned on, it'll look one size, but if we turn it on, it's going to change size. No. Listen. We need to distinguish a light source and something that's reflecting light. Okay. Okay. So, I actually want to touch
a light bulb is one that emits light.
Yes, a light bulb.
Well, hey, part-time. If you have a light bulb and it's turned off, it's reflecting light. Would you agree? That's how we're seeing it. It's reflecting light. That's how we actually see it. It's not emitting anything, right?
You're saying it's not emitting light? It is emitting light.
No, it's not. No, it's turned off. It's everything that we're seeing is reflected from photons hitting the light bulb and then bouncing off to our eyes. Correct?
Wait, so you're saying a light bulb is not emitting light?
Oh God!
A light bulb that's hypothetical, you dumbass. If you turn it off, right? I'm in my living room.
Okay, wait.
First of all, my lights are on. It's not producing light.
I'm just going to tell everyone to shut the fuck up for a second. I'm going to let Sam go, and then you can reply part-time. Sam, go ahead.
Well, what he's saying is like right now, I'm sitting in my living room, and I'm looking. I can see my light bulb, but it's not turned on. Is it emitting light or is it not?
If you're looking at a light bulb and it's not turned on, then it's not emitting light.
So it would be then reflecting light.
Reflecting light. Yes.
Yes.
That's you can see it.
Okay, so now if you turn it on, does that diameter change?
Okay. I never said it would change.
Yes, you'd have.
You did.
No. Listen to the distinction I'm trying to tell you. There's a difference between looking at it from a human eye and looking at it through a camera.
All right.
Wait, can I ask you a question?
Part-time, would the light bulb change according to the human eye if you turn it on?
Would the light bulb change? You'll see a glare.
That's not the same.
And that is filtered out, and that's filtered out with the solar filter.
Correct.
Oh, so you put a solar filter on your eye?
No, you can. You do know you can have light bulbs that are bright enough to keep you glare, right?
Yeah. What do you think is happening such that the image is distorted here, right? Because if you're just adjusting intensity, right, you're just adjusting the if I'm remembering optics correctly, you're not adjusting the actual wavelengths and angles at which things are coming. You're adjusting how much of the
coming to
light source is coming through, right? Like, what do you expect is actually going to change from an anatomical perspective when it comes to the eye, right? Because the eye does, when it comes to intensity, that shouldn't change angular. Yeah. Like, based on the way the eye actually works, it doesn't change like the angle at all.
Yeah. If I have a light bulb and if I have a
wait, I asked a question.
Let him answer.
I don't even think you understood the question because I don't understand your question.
Part-time, I think you're really missing a point here. There's very little difference between the way the eye works and the camera works. Is they both have a lens for imaging.
Okay.
The incoming light onto a sensor. In the case of the eye, you have a lens, and the sensor is the retina. The camera, you have a CCD cell, charge coupled device, which images the light. and responds to various light wavelengths, just like the retina does. It's the same principle. That's how we ended up developing the camera in the first place, is understanding how the eye images. So it's really not a valid argument to say that the camera produces an image different than what the eye does.
Oh, so you're saying the camera produces the exact same image with the solar filter on as the eye does? Is that what you're saying?
If you're wearing
yes,
sunglasses,
it will. If you
yes.
put the solar filter in front of your eye,
that makes no sense.
Put a solar filter in front of your eye, you're going to see the same thing as the camera will.
How does that not make sense?
Yeah, sorry, but literally the main difference between an eye and a camera is the fact that the eye is basically like a really, really crap camera with a lot of processing power that interprets behind it. That's literally the only difference.
Have you ever taken a picture of someone and look at the same person just with your own eye, and can you see the difference between the picture and how you see the person?
They look like the same asshole to me.
Yeah.
And so when I'm looking at the same asshole, that means that I can see that, and I can actually use like cameras to define the angular size of something and define its shape. And guess what? When you do this observation in real life using cameras with objects of a known size, and you use this measurement, they agree on the same answer. They fucking agree. And if you add any sort of filter on top of it, they still agree, because we're filtering out intensity. That's the only thing we're doing here. They still agree, which means the solar filter is not going to matter when it comes to the angular size of it. It's what the solar filter does is it makes it possible to actually see the sun without being fucking blinded by its light. It cuts down the intensity.
Not overloading.
You can see its shape, and with that shape, you can see if the size of that shape changes throughout the day. It doesn't, therefore you have an issue.
Yeah, the solar filter part-time just reduces the intensity of the light coming into the sensor so that you're not overloading the sensor. You use solar filters all the time. We call them sunglasses.
Yep.
And if you put sunglasses on, it doesn't all of a sudden look like a giant...
Whoa, time out. So
right.
you guys literally, you said that the solar filter is basically the camera and a solar filter is basically the same as the eye, correct?
And I with sunglasses, maybe.
And to put in an analogy, the camera is your eye and the solar filter is a sunglass.
Okay, so let me tell you this. So if I put on some sunglasses, does that mean, and I look at the sun, that means the sun wouldn't change in shape?
But the difference is that the sunglass is not strong enough to filter out.
Okay.
You don't want to look at the sun with sunglasses.
This is why this is an analogy.
If you put welder's glasses on, you could look at the sun.
Yeah, well, the thing is, right, is like there's an element of tint to most sunglasses, so we'd have to, obviously remove that. But
okay.
But I am not finished with the sentence. But the thing would be though is right, like, okay, I live in Southern California. It's always sunny. When I drive to work, I wear sunglasses. The size, like the angular size and location of the sun does not change when I slip on sunglasses. The only thing that changes is the intensity and the tint. And if you remove the tint, then it's just the intensity.
Red, what time is it for you right now?
5.
Is the sun up?
No.
Okay. Well,
it's cloudy as fuck out here.
Okay. Well, can you like look through your solar filter with your own human eye at like 12 o'clock and then look at it again right before the sun sets and then tell me if it's still the same size?
The difference is...
Holy fuck, dude.
He showed you the pictures of him doing that.
Yeah. No. That was with the camera. I said, can you guys are telling me that.
How
am I supposed to show you what I am seeing?
Yeah.
How am I supposed to do that? Because if I go out and I say, hang on, if I go out and I actually
just take a picture of it.
I did take pictures of it. If I go out and I say, hey, I've actually done this, actually, between you I mean, part-time, I have actually done this, went out to the beach, checked it out through welder's glass, then went out in the middle of the day, checked out through welder's glass, looked the same fucking size to me, comparing it to my thumb at arm's length. Yes, I've done it. Of course, I have no way of proving that to you because you can't see it you can't get inside my own eyes, so you could just say I'm bullshitting you, which is fine. But that's why I have the actual fucking images from it. And when I screen share this out and present this to everyone so that everyone can see this fucking thing, the angular size of the sun is not fucking changing throughout the goddamn day.
Yeah.
Okay. Reg, you can do it.
Listen, also,
send it to him psychically, because psychic wavelengths travel a lot the furthest.
Of course, forgot about that.
And I also wanted to point out that cameras are actually more reliable than human eyes, and that is why we have like eyewitness testimony in court cases of the weakest form of evidence. And if you can show a picture of like a murder happening, that would be very strong evidence.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that if I'm asserting that the camera interprets light differently than your eye.
Yeah,
so
and it does it better. It does it better.
Okay. Can I finish my sentence? Okay, so Red, you took pictures and you see that the sun is the exact same size, essentially, right? Correct?
Yes, the angular size.
Okay,
so size of the sun did not change throughout the day.
Okay.
All right. Wait a minute, everyone. Let me answer his question. No, the angular size of the sun did not change throughout the day when I took images.
All right. Can you honestly, like, just one day, just get your little solar filter, go outside at 12 o'clock, look at the sun with your own human eye through your solar filter, and then look at it later on and tell me that the sun changes, and I will take your word.
Hang on. As I already said, I already did that with shade 14 welder's glass. And trust me when I say it, because you said you would, when comparing it, using my thumb as reference, held up at arm's length, it did not change at all.
Okay, where can I get one of these solar filters? Where can I get
Home Depot.
Amazon.
Hey, I will, if you send me, I will buy one and I'll do the experiment myself.
You can say something, quick point of fact here. The issue isn't that the interpret the image. That's actually not true. Your eyes don't interpret shit. It's your brain, right? And your brain can't possibly integrate all of the information in your field of vision. So that's why this is why we don't actually operate on a live feed. Like we actually operate, I think it's roughly like 40 seconds behind.
Millie. Not 40 seconds.
Right, and so the issue is that, like, if you're going to say, oh, the eye interprets it the exact same way as the camera, no, the eye doesn't do any interpreting. It's that the brain interprets it in a way that is inferior to how a camera, because a camera just captures where the photons are at that time in relation to the.
What's your solar filter called?
Time. I can tell you exactly how to do this with your eyes without using a camera.
I just wanted to get the camera just so I have no more questions.
Can I say something real quick? You could do the same exact thing using the moon. You don't have to go through all this with the sun. The moon would do the exact same principle.
Yeah, but with the sun, it's very easy to do. All you have to do is get a very long soda straw, get yourself, say, a piece of cardboard, cut a hole, put a hole in it to stick the straw through to block off most of the sunlight. Then what you do is put on some sunglasses. You won't need anything stronger than sunglasses when viewing the sun through the straw. You try to view the sun through the straw, and then you just cut the length of the straw off. You hold it to your sunglasses, and you adjust the length of the straw so that the sun's diameter just fills the straw. Then wait, say do that at solar noon. Then wait towards the end of the day and view the sun near the horizon, and you'll see that it fills the straw the same as it did at solar noon.
I'm just going to get a solar filter. I'm going to look at the sun myself, and if the sun is the same throughout the day, then I will publicly apologize. But for right now,
you need something to compare. Maybe if you put some lines on your solar filter, I mean, you can get fooled by viewing the sun near the horizon when you're looking at objects on the horizon, there's an optical illusion that occurs that makes the sun look bigger to your brain when it's near the horizon and you have other objects nearby to compare its size to, versus when it's way up in the sky without any objects near it.
Basically what he's saying is you have to do what I did, which was have a visual reference. My visual reference was the pictures I took of the sun throughout the day. I was able to compare them to each other. So when you do this observation, I want you to go out at solar noon. I want you to hold the welder's glass up, or whatever the fuck you have. I want you to hold up to the sky at arm's length, and I mean fully stretch out that bitch. I want you to put pieces of tape, like black electrical tape or whatever, at the top of the sun and at the very bottom of the sun. I mean, make it as clearly, marked as you can. Go out just before it hits the horizon. Just before it hits the horizon so that you can still see the whole fucking thing. Make sure it's a clear day, by the way. And hold out at arm's length again. And see where it is in relation to two pieces of tape you had when you initially did your measurement. I guarantee you that it is going to be the exact same size. It will fit perfectly between those two pieces of tape, assuming you did it right the first time.
All right.
Hey, let me pop in here. I'm gonna have to get off here and go to the pool with the kids. But part-time, look, man. There's if you go on Amazon right now, they're selling solar filter sunglasses for the eclipse next month. They're cheap. Just buy a pair of those, and just use them. And the other thing I want to say is, I mean, maybe you're not aware of this, but I just want to make sure you are. Digital cameras have only been around for a couple of decades. Before that was film, and that's only been around for about 150 years. And they figured this out way before that using instruments like sextants and things like that, where they did it all with the human eye. So the fallacy that the human eye sees it differently than the camera is a fallacy. It's just not true. Cameras have not been around that long. We did it all with the human eye, where they measured the angular size of the sun with the human eye centuries ago using astronomical equipment like sextants and astrolabes and stuff like that. And there was no camera to compare it to. And
well, I just looked at what you said about Amazon. I see a 6x6 solar filter sheet for telescopes, binoculars, and
look up solar filter sunglasses.
You want to use solar filter sunglasses, or better yet, if you want to do the tape method that I did, literally go to Home Depot. I think they're like $8. Get yourself like shade 14 welder's glass and hold that shit up to the sun. In fact, how about this? I'll make it easier for you. I will give you a link to click on, and this is the one that I would go for if you're going to do the experiment that I did. Because if you're not going to use a camera, then you don't need film, you need glass. So hang on 1 second. There we go. Boom boom.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna drop off. My nephew's having a birthday party, and the kids are at the pool, and I'm going to join them. So
all right, understood.
See you guys later.
See you later, Rocket Man. For those of you wondering, Rocket Man kind of works on rockets. Who would have thunk it, right?
Can I say something?
Sure. As I'm finding this, actually, no, you can't say something because I'm going to say something first. This link that I'm going to post in the side, that is a link to the same type of welder's glass that I bought myself. And if you were to hold that up to the sun, you will be able to see exactly what I'm talking about, and shit like that. In fact, there's even a cheaper one here for only. I was right; it is only $8. Oh, this is actually the one I bought. You purchased this item on this date. There you go. So that's the welder's glass. It's $8. It's a prime, free 1-day shipping. So get yourself some of those. Get yourself that welder's glass. Hold that shit up to the sun on a clear day, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
All right. And so what you're telling me is, with my human eye, I'm not going to be able to see the
with
sun
just
change
the
size.
eye, no.
Yeah.
You need a
Just-
visual
yeah.
reference. You need to actually use tape, and then with just the eye, you will be able to do it. They did that all by eye, very back in the day. Cameras just make shit a lot easier because I'm lazy.
Yeah.
Part-time, if it helps you at all. I've actually earlier this spring measured the angular size of the sun at I think it was 3 or 4 different times of the day, from solar noon to when it set, and I was using a very precision piece of equipment called a surveyor's total station, where I can measure angles to within 4 arc seconds.
Mhm.
And I put this out on my dock out in front, where I could view the sun and the difference in the angular diameter, the angular size of the sun, from when it was around solar noon to sunset, differed less than minutes of an arc. And the difference, of course, that I could measure that with the instrument that you'd never see with your eye is just some minute changes that occurred near sunset as the light was refracted a little more through the atmosphere. But it's very easy to measure with precision pieces of equipment. And I've also done it with the moon once. On a full moon, I watched the moon rise on the eastern horizon. I measured it, and I made several measurements throughout the night until the moon set the next morning. And in measuring the angular diameter of the moon, which was on the order of about 33 arc seconds, which is about a half a degree, a little more than a half a degree, I found that the angle diameter of the moon didn't change more than a few minutes of an arc. I have photographs of it where you can see the crosshairs.
Wait. Are you saying the moon changed size?
It actually,
very
George, I was going
little. Very little.
I was going to correct you.
Like-
You got your minutes and seconds backwards.
Okay.
But
Well,
other than that, you were
Okay.
correct.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was measuring the diameter of the moon on the order was about 33 minutes, and I didn't find variations through the night more than about I believe it was about 15 arc seconds, which is a second is 1/60th of a minute. So you're looking at less than a percent change in the size, 1% change in the size, and of course that can all be accounted for by atmospheric aberrations, different refraction that's going on as it is near horizon versus up into the up overhead.
I mean, we're not supposed to see
I have photographs of these if you want to see the photographs.
Yeah.
Also, I do want to mention. Hang on. I do want to mention that on the flat Earth, when you actually do the math, because there is actual math behind the law of perspective. Here's what we should be seeing. We shouldn't be seeing the sun grow by a few arc seconds. It would be rising at one angular size, grow to 4 times bigger midday, and then shrink again to the size it was when it originally rose. We don't see that at all. That kind of shit would be so obvious that we wouldn't even need a solar filter. And so if we're going down to the most minute levels of changes, even if we were to confirm that there were very minute levels of changes, they're not at the scale that we need in order for flat Earth to become legit. Basically, if the flat Earth was indeed the case and the sun was really where they said it was, we would be seeing the angular size change by 4 fucking times between morning and midday. Guess what we don't see?
Red is right on that. I think it's closer to 3.5 times, but neither here nor there. I mean, it's huge. I mean, the difference is huge. You're going to be seeing somewhere between a factor of 3 to 4 times bigger midday than what you'd be finding it on the horizon. And here with the surveyor's theodolite total station, I'm measuring fractions of a percentage change, not integral changes, but a fraction, hundredths.
Okay, can I say something now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Part-time, you want to measure the angular size of the sun just with your eyes, right?
I'm gonna do my eyes. I'm gonna do the solar filter thing.
Well, bear in mind that don't use your eyes. It's better to use a camera because you can more easily tell the difference or if the angular size changed or not, because your eyes do a very poor job.
Well, the issue here is not the camera. He wants to use the eye because he's
skeptical of cameras.
Whether the camera will give him the same imaging as the camera.
And I can tell you right.
The difference between the eye and the camera is what he's disputing here.
The reason
your eyes can tell the difference between these circles, the size of these circles, even though they are different. Your eyes aren't accurate enough to tell the difference in size between them. Can you tell the difference?
That's why we're telling him to take like glasses and put tape on them, or like in my case, using a straw or whatever, so he has something that he can measure it with.
Basically, as long as the angular size at least gives you a challenge to tell the difference, that's a nail in the coffin for flat Earth. Because if the flat Earth were in fact the case, the angular size of the sun, there would be no challenge whatsoever for you to tell the difference. I would say, this is clearly different, because we're talking about a factor of 4 here.
I think some of those calculations obviously need to be recalculated. So I wouldn't necessarily say that would just go ahead and just debunk the whole model, because I mean I agree there's a lot of holes in the flat Earth model, but like I said, we don't.
It's one big hole.
Okay, I just admitted that, but listen, we don't have thousands of scientists helping us out here.
Hang on, Ness. Hang on. Do you? Okay, oh, that's it. Okay, then let me say this. Am I thousands of scientists? Because I did this math myself.
Well, but you had a pretty solid background. You're basically just.
I went to school and I listened in class.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So you already had a solid back. Okay. So
that counts as no. I was given the same educational opportunity as you. It was public school, for fuck's sake.
Wait.
And also I have access to the internet, which you can also learn this crap. And here's the thing: there are plenty of free tutorials of how to do trigonometry, basic trigonometry on YouTube. Like literally, type in how to do trig, and they will walk you through some of the things you need to learn. And then you can go ahead and apply that to the observations done in reality. That's what I did.
Okay, well, listen, I'm saying that the globe model and the explanations behind the globe model have been substantiated over 500 years. This little flat Earth...
A lot longer than that.
Longer than that, much longer than that.
At least 2,000 years.
Hold on, I'm going to smack a straw man. I'm going to smack a straw man right now. Flat Earth started first.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
flat Earth had a lot longer than the globe did.
But
flat Earth was first. But then they realized when they started watching ships go over the horizon, the ancient Greeks said something ain't right here, and they threw it away based on everything that they were observing. It didn't become very strong scientifically, and it wasn't proven. It was hypothesized for a very long time. It was proven 500 years ago.
Or when they started to navigate using stars.
And the only people who kept this stupid flat Earth thing alive was Samuel Rowbotham in the late 1800s. And when he died, it pretty much died with him. It got brought back in the last couple of years by a bunch of retards on YouTube trying to scam for money.
Okay, listen. I do not know what the technology was like back in the 1500s or before the 1500s. But I know.
Have you heard of a sextant?
A sextant? Is
yes.
That like the?
It is a navigational tool that was used by sailors for hundreds of years. And guess what? It was amazingly accurate. Oh, wait, it was designed for a globe.
Yeah.
Fuck, I forgot that.
The reason the sailors didn't get lost on the ocean because they modeled the sky based on the globe model.
And by the way, I am prior Navy, so that's why I know so much about it as well. But, Red, I did want to mention something to you. You can't count your public school education because it is Florida.
This is true, but however, that just actually helps me out in that case. Do you want to know why? Because if a fucking Floridian can figure this shit out, anyone can.
I mean, you guys didn't just wake up and say, look at the sky and said, you know, I think the Earth is round. You had a solid foundation of, you know, facts and information to build upon.
Yeah, those solid,
I mean, what foundation?
The solid facts and foundation. Oh, go ahead, Sam.
Well, everyone builds off of foundations, right? Like, humans can't be raised in a vacuum, right? Like, our parents instill a foundation. So I don't find that to be a valid excuse. It just kind of seems like you haven't done the hard.
No, you're not.
I didn't interrupt you. Did not interrupt you.
You did, because I wasn't. Okay.
It doesn't seem like, I mean, that doesn't seem like an excuse for not doing stuff that is honestly grade school mathematics.
Okay, well, can I finish my thought now? Because every time I try to complete a sentence, I get interrupted.
You were in the middle of my sentence, sir. So I'm sorry that the end of my sentence interrupted the beginning of yours, but you can't say you didn't get to complete that thought on my account.
And I interrupted because you were building a straw man, and I put a stop to it right then and there.
All right, then let's try this. Part-time, say what you guys say, and then when you're done, say you're done. And if anyone interrupts him, I'm booting your ass. And that way, you can't make any excuse that you didn't get to complete the thought. Go.
Okay. So what I'm trying to say is, I don't know what the technology was like before the 1500s. You know, if it was caveman technology, then wow, you know. But these last 500 years, we had a lot of innovation. We had a lot of telescopes being invented, and they had a good chance to build from a foundation of the Earth being round. So we have a solid globe model. But think if we'd have built from a foundation of a flat Earth, it'd have been basically the same thing. Because like I tried to show Red in our discussion earlier, you can still build from a faulty premise, and you can explain reality, but just because you can explain reality doesn't mean it pertains to reality. Now, with that being said, I'm just going to do the experiments myself. I'm not committed to flat Earth per se. If I see evidence going towards the contrary, then I'll publicly admit it. But as of right now, like, you guys are just basically just regurgitating and telling me all these facts, and then being so critical of the flat Earth. And I understand that, but just realize that, yes, there's holes in the flat Earth, but we're trying to resolve that. And I would like to get to my other evidence and let you guys critique that.
Are you hang on.
I'm done. I'm done.
All right, perfect. I just want to make sure that you're finish the thought. Now, here's the thing though. The issues with the flat Earth, what we're saying is that they have actually been resolved, but they haven't been resolved the way that you want. They've been resolved in the way that we have figured out that they're bullshit. The model is bullshit. The model is not comporting with observations. If you started from the foundation of a flat Earth, that foundation would crumble beneath your feet. What makes or breaks a solid foundation is if it can support the observations that you make in reality. And guess what? Even if you started from a foundation of the Earth being flat, the observations that you make in reality would have crumbled that shit into dust, leaving only the flat Earth to actually stand, because it is strong enough and it is able to deal with the observation that we give, being that it actually comports with reality, it agrees with reality. And given the fact that the flat Earth was here, well, first, you guys have had a lot longer to figure this shit out, and most people actually did figure this shit out when starting from the flat Earth. They figured out that the flat Earth was eventually bullshit and went to the ground Earth, which turned out not to be bullshit because it matches everything that we see in reality. And we can also use that model to make predictions, even suggesting more that it's actually the case.
On that note,
can I ask something? Part-time, do you know what retrograde motion is?
Yes.
What is it?
Okay. Retrograde motion, particularly with Mars, is a motion where at certain times of the year, the motion of a planet like Mars will be going a nice continual motion across the sky, and then all of a sudden, for several weeks, it will appear to reverse direction and go in the opposite direction from what initially was going across the sky, and then it loops back and continues on with its motion. So you get kind of an S pattern to its motion across the sky. And this has always been a problem for the geocentric centrist and the flat Earth. There's no way on the flat Earth to explain that motion, whereas with The heliocentric model, it's very easy to model and see why that occurs during certain times of the year. Not only that, on the so-called flat Earth model, there's really no point going through all these gyrations with all these different problems when it's a non-starter to begin with. No one has ever been able to explain to me how it is, how such a force field could exist above a flat plane as to allow the sun and the moon to trace out circular orbits above a flat plane centered about the North Pole. There's no known force field that could produce such a motion. Sometimes I've heard people talk about a toroidal magnetic field. Well, a toroidal magnetic field that emanates from the center of this flat plane where the North Pole would be has only one stable point on it above the equator. So the moment the sun tried to move off above the equator to move, say, towards the North Pole to give you summer in the northern latitudes, the sun would eventually crash to Earth because it would have moved off its stable orbit point. And then if it tried to move towards the southern hemisphere or the southern latitudes off the equator, it would go flying off into space because it's moved off the stable point. There is no known force field that could possibly produce forces on an object above a flat plane to circle the North Pole. It's just that simple. Nobody's been ever able to give me that particular force field or how it would be produced to give us those types of motions above a flat plane. Just absolutely impossible.
Can I respond to the question?
Sure.
Well, you actually seem so you're saying that the sun's motion isn't explained by no one gave an explanation for the sun's motion. I mean, I think it would fall under some type of electromagnetic mechanics. But with that being said, have you seen the documentary The Principle?
No, The Principle?
Yeah, The Principle.
By the way, I have not seen it part-time, but I have talked to Mark Wyatt and Sunjagis, the two of the producers for that movie, yes, when it first came out.
Well, you talked to them actually?
Yeah. Well, I mean, online.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
We had a lot of dialogue back and forth when that movie first came out. It only made about $87,000, I think. It was really low. It didn't do very well, obviously. But there was nothing in that movie that actually demonstrated what their initial premise was. Their initial premise was that the Copernicus principle shouldn't be held anymore, right? And that they believe that we do have a unique place in the universe. And they based it upon the cosmic microwave background radiation, correct?
I think you're kind of missing the point. I think they were trying to say...
Correct, though? Is that correct, though? They're using the CMB data?
Well, okay.
That's what I got out of it, and I've only seen half the damn thing.
I didn't watch the movie, but I'm familiar with it.
Part-time.
No, I think I tried to show you. So scientists do an experiment, right? And then the results came in, and they have two options. Like, for example, the Michael Morrison experiment, whatever.
Michelson-Morley. You're jumping shark here. We were talking about the principle, as you brought up. The principle deals with the fact that they're saying in the cosmic microwave background radiation, there's anisotropes that cannot be explained that supposedly point to the directionality of the solar system. That is not true. Matter of fact, it's about 10 degrees off the elliptical plane. It's like saying, hey, point to New York by standing in LA, and you say, okay, I'll point in that general direction. Oh, look, it's pointing exactly at the Eiffel Tower. No, it doesn't work that way because obviously you have a divergence. So it's not pointing directly at us. It's quite a bit of discrepancy there. But it has to do with the monopole, or I think it's the octopole.
Octopole.
Yeah, it's the octopole. So what they're trying to do is say, look, we have a special place in the universe because the cosmic microwave background radiation seems to be pointing, or certain parts of it points right to us. But it doesn't. That was flawed from the get-go.
Okay.
Yeah. This is very similar to the same argument that I've heard regarding the fine constant, which is around 132. This is a ratio of many of the fundamental constants, and a lot of these proponents say, well, gee, you know, if the universe wasn't created, why would the ratio of all these constants come out to an integer? But it doesn't.
Yep. Basically,
carry it out to several decimal places. It's 132 point something or other, but they round it to an integer and say, oh, gee, isn't this wonderful? You know, this is mystical, and it isn't. And what Steve is trying to say, just because with the cosmic background radiation, you happen to be pointing the same in the general direction. Now all of a sudden you refine and say, oh, geez, you know, it's pointing right at the ecliptic, and the Earth is right in the crosshairs, and that's BS.
Okay. Remember, I'm gonna do something here, so everyone shut for a second. Remember that conversation we had about very shaky foundations? That is such an example of a movie that's building off of very shaky foundations. In fact, I would argue the foundation doesn't even exist, and I've only seen half the damn thing. I'm going to reserve my final. Hang on. I'm going to reserve my final judgment on the movie till I actually see the entire thing. But I know for a fact that Sam actually wanted to get in and ask you a very direct question and have you answer directly back. So I'm going to ask everyone to shut the fuck up, let these two hash it out, and Sam, you have the floor.
Well, in the interest of foundations, right? So one of the biggest foundations for understanding and you know, confirming the predictions of a round Earth is the Pythagorean theorem. Would you agree with that, part-time?
Sure, yeah.
Do you know when Pythagoras died? Do you care to say what year?
I'm not sure when he died exactly.
Okay, then don't say yeah. It's 495 BC. Now, Eratosthenes did the first proof and regarding, you know, the curvature of the Earth. Now, he was way after, you know, Pythagoras, but you made the allegation that all of the foundations, and to be precise, he was born in 276 BC, which means that he was, you know, 200 years later. And you made the allegation that all of this is based on the foundation of around Earth, but this would say it's demonstrably false. The basic mathematics that demonstrate that the Earth is round predate any notion of whether the Earth was round or not. So I'm kind of confused here.
That was a bit of a straw man because I'm or here. Let's just say
what did I straw man? Let's start with that.
You're saying that the foundation was the Earth is round. I'm saying
that's not what I said.
Okay.
What I said is that you said that the foundation of these ideas in this development is based on the foundation that the Earth is round, and what I'm demonstrating here is that it's actually not. Like the actual, you know, acceptance of this idea that the Earth is round is way after the basic mathematics that demonstrates it.
Well, I was actually trying to say that this whole foundation is predicated upon the heliocentric model. That's what I'm trying to articulate. And when you look and as George explained, there's a lot of holes in the geocentric model. But if you look at the Tychonic model, which integrates the geocentric model and the heliocentric model, then we see a system that it just seemed to be arbitrarily dismissed. In fact, when I even showed a Wikipedia quote, and I mean, take that with a grain of salt, that said that there's no objective reason to pick the Copernicus model over the
Tychonic. Wait. Like I have a response to this.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, you can say that, but again, you know, the earliest proposal of a heliocentric model was 200 years after Pythagoras died. So again, the foundation is not around Earth, and it's not a heliocentric model, right? It's the mathematics of Pythagoras. So, like, you can't get away with this argument that it's all built on this foundation, because it's just very clearly not. It's built on the foundation of mathematics. Now, if you want to dispute whether Pythagoras was right, I mean, you could do that, but you can do the mathematical proofs. Like, with respect to those mathematical axioms, it's 100% certain.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, didn't I also tell you an objection to that model? So the fact that Wikipedia says there's no objection to that model, that's fine. But at the same time, I can also edit that Wikipedia to say there's no objection to the fact that the moon is made of cheese. I gave you an objection that said that if you were to still put the Earth at the very center, objects that are at a certain distance would eventually have to start breaking the speed of light to make their revolution around us in a 24-hour period.
I've got one nitpick.
Is predicated on the heliocentric model, but go ahead.
It's predicated on the speed of light, sir.
I've got a nitpick.
Go ahead.
It's Tycho Brahe.
Sorry.
It's not Tycho. It's Tycho.
Tycho. Okay. Sorry. Tycho.
Yeah, that's not predicated on anything other than the speed of light, which I already demonstrated that we know how fast the speed of light is. So if we know how fast the speed of light is, and since we know that nothing can break the speed of light, that must mean that for an object to be going around us, it would have to be breaking one of the known laws of physics when we see these objects are at a certain distance away from us.
I want to point. Oh, sorry.
So, I mean, I know that for the one that Coolhard Logic said, that issue starts at the orbit of Neptune. I think it starts at the orbit of Neptune and only gets progressively worse the further out you go.
Well, can I respond?
I would like to hear his response to what I said. Guys, like, there's a lot of us here, and like, I did level quite a significant point.
But Nestle is showing the cherry pick that he's just done.
Yes, he quote mined Wikipedia. Wikipedia said something else before his quote.
Oh, look at that.
A part-time. You mentioned about.
Wait! Don't go too far. Let him respond to what Sam said.
Agreed. Hannah, you're quiet. I would say let's go ahead and go back to Sam.
Your mom's quiet.
Hannah, my mom is quiet right now. She's not here at the moment, so of course.
Well, evidently, Reds was conceived despite birth control and condoms, so I'm guessing that she was not quiet. That's just my guess.
Actually, you would be correct at the time, although right now she has gotten up there in years, unfortunately. So anyway, getting back to it, can you please respond to Sam, Mr. Alkaline?
Okay, to me it sounded like Sam was saying that everything was formed on the foundation of Pythagorean theorem, which is fine. Maybe that's a step one foundation. Okay, but then I have the issue with the step two foundation of picking the heliocentric model as opposed to the Tycho model.
But that's not step two. The heliocentric model was like after, like, this is the issue, right? Is like, you don't know the history of these ideas and you don't know these ideas. And I'm not trying to be insulting here, right? But at no point when Eratosthenes inferred the curvature of the Earth to amazing precision, despite the time and lack of resources, at no point did he make reference to heliocentrism as being part of that theory, right? Like, that's not what happened. So it just kind of seems like it's a blend of you wanting to believe this and then a blend of not really being familiar with the history of these ideas.
So what are you saying?
Well, I'm saying that you're just saying pure falsehoods here, right? Like, and whether that's ignorance or dishonesty, I'm not in your head. I can't determine that, right?
The timeline of your hypothesis is completely wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, the historical record completely contradicts you, right? And like, I can make measurements of curvature independent of heliocentrism.
Yeah, and the speed of light is also independent of heliocentrism.
Yeah, exactly. These are all independent inquiries. And so to say that it's all based on a foundation, right? Like, there's nothing about heliocentrism that implies a round Earth, right? It's just that when, measurements can cross-confirm both theories at the same time.
Okay, is
right?
Like, so does a circle equal curvature? Because, I mean...
On what? No, it doesn't. Right? Curvature is not a notion on a circle because a circle is a flat object.
So how did Pythagorean find curvature then? Because it sounds like...
Because Pythagoras didn't.
Okay, so Aristophanes.
Aristophanes.
Oh, Aristophanes.
It's okay. So anyway, yeah, him. He's the one that found it, not the other guy.
Okay, so he found something that's circular. Okay, so what does this have to do with the curvature?
No, he found something that was curved.
How okay, well, a circle can be curved but still be flat.
No, it can't. A circle is
How?
a two-dimensional object because curvature doesn't exist on two-dimensional spaces.
Wait. So are you saying a circle isn't curved?
Yes, it's curved on its edges. I mean, you're talking.
Okay,
about
then. Well, there we
flattening-
go.
No.
Wait a minute. Not on its surface area, only on its perimeter.
Let me.
Yeah, that's not what we mean.
Let's clarify.
God damn it. When you say curvature, right, you're talking about like the actual plane, right? Is that what we're talking about, or are you talking about the shape? Because those are two different things, right? So if I have a circular plane, a circle is flat.
And
do you know the difference between a plane and a? God damn it, George! Like
George, respectfully, shut the fuck up for a second.
Part-time. Do you understand the difference here, right? Like you're making two different statements at the same time.
I'm honestly trying to make sense of what you're saying. You're saying that Erroneous or whatever his name is detected curvature by
Eratosthenes.
Okay, Mr. E found curvature, but I'm thinking it's more so he found the diameter of the Earth and calculated the circumference.
Do you know what his measurement was?
Yeah, I think he was in Egypt, and the sun was directly over him, and he went to like a nearby city. And
Alexander, I think. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, so he used basically simple trigonometry to figure out the circumference of the Earth. But I don't see how that equivocates to curvature, or maybe it doesn't.
Well, hold on.
No, he was measuring curvature. He wasn't. Like he actually measured the curvature, right? Because it hits the 2 points at different angles. Right? Like
based on the curvature, he calculated.
Wait a minute, guys. Wait a minute. Let Sam finish.
Like, is my internet cutting out?
No, Sam. We're just assholes.
Yeah. Okay. Fuck all of you. But the thing is the math directly implies curvature, right? Like he's finding an angle, like they're using a standard point in the sky, which is the sun, right?
Yes.
And you find the angle, right? You know the angle of incidence, and then you know the curvature. You can infer the curvature using simple equations, right? Mathematics was not as well developed as it is now. Right? Like there's no way around this, right? There is like the measurements and the angles don't make sense unless the Earth is curved.
See, I actually tried to not necessarily replicate this, but I got my lamp, and then I got a pencil, and I took the pencil straight up, okay? Mm-hmm. And when the lamp was directly above my pencil, I didn't see a shadow. And then when I moved my pencil a little bit to the left, I saw a shadow, and
Let me reply this one.
I don't necessarily see how that. Okay, go ahead. You know I'm getting that.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're getting at, and I remember this clearly because it was so nice to shove this up Jism's ass back during the shit where he was making fun of Stephen Hawking. So if you guys want to see that, it's the fuckery counter challenge. It's the second set of videos. I believe it's part 1 where I shoved this shit up his ass, because what that shows is that the sun would only be 3,000 miles up and 32 miles across. And as I just point out with my images, the angular size of the sun does not change throughout the day. Therefore, that cannot be the case. The only way that could actually be the case is if those shadows were made by a curved surface. Well, otherwise, you have the angular size of the sun to deal with. After you assume that, correct, you will go ahead and get those 2 shadows. But where do those 2 points meet? 3,000 miles up, and that means the sun, to be the angular size as it is in the sky at midday, have to be 32 miles across. Therefore, we should be seeing an angular size shift. We don't, which means that assertion is bullshit.
If I
and I'm screen sharing the exact equations that you can replicate there. Right? Like this is all high school geometry.
I'm presenting to everyone, Sam.
I'm not saying I'm not belaboring this. Like I don't mean to belabor this point to seem like I'm attacking you or anything, but like this is pretty critical, right? Like these are measurements that you can verify, and like unless you can dispute, like you either need to dispute that the measurements aren't possible, which by the way you're not going to do just with a lamp in your room. You need something that's actually going to be on a length scale that approximates curvature. You either can dispute that this methodology actually doesn't get what it's getting at, or you can dispute the math.
Okay, well, this doesn't. Okay, I'm trying to explain this. Okay, this doesn't necessarily imply curvature. It can imply that the Earth is a circular plane, but it doesn't necessarily.
No, it can't.
No, well, listen. Red.
Let him finish the sentence. Let him finish the sentence.
Red, like your logic is predicated. Your logic is predicated with the experiment you've done. Now, when I do the experiment, I might have a different point of view. But until I do the experiment myself to verify what you're saying, I'm just going to take it as a toss up.
Well, hang on.
How can you take it as a toss up?
Let me offer this.
Replicate. Well, no. Like this is bullshit, right? Because do you accept, quantum mechanics, right? Well, you tacitly accept it, right? Because you're using a computer, right? Like we provisionally accept all kinds of scientific theories, and it just seems like you're making an exception here.
I think you're missing.
Let me toss one thing up real quick, but I'm trying to do it for like the last 20 minutes.
Well, before you do, and I understand that's going to piss you off, Sean, but at the same time, go fuck yourself. I'm going to say this. I actually need to end this hangout. So I'm going to give all of y'all motherfuckers a final word on this. And then what's going to happen is Steve, who has already agreed to this because I told him to just now, as of 5 seconds ago, will make a hangout on his channel. And I'm sure you all could be invited there to continue on this conversation because I actually have some shit to do in real life. So with that, I'm going to say this. My observations debunk that. Until you have something that shows my observations are flawed, then I'm just going to go with my original conclusion that putting two pencils on a flat table like Jism did in that video of his where he's shitting on a scientist that did more with his life than he'll ever fucking do is bullshit. His little experiment with the shadows and the pencils, bullshit, because that means the angular size of the sun would change. It does not. I'll state that as fact. Fuck anyone who disagrees with me without actually giving me a reason to disagree with what my own camera showed. With that, I'm going to say this. George, you have the floor. Say what you got to say. Get the fuck out.
All right. Thank you. Part-time on the Eratosthenes experiment. You can go through and create it on the flat plane and get a similar type of result regarding the shadows. But when you apply the geometry to the problem, if you're assuming first off that the sun is 3,000 miles above the earth at 32 miles across, and you take the measurements that Eratosthenes made between Alexandria and Cyrene, and the distance between them, and you take the shadow distance, you work through the geometry, you're going to find that the sun's height above the earth to produce that is going to be very much different than the 3,000 miles that the model assumes. So I'm not going to tell you what the result is. I've gone through it. You can go through it yourself and come back to me and show me what you get for the calculations using Eratosthenes' experiment to see what you get for the height of the sun above the earth, and it's going to astonish you.
Awesome. Okay.
All right. The next one in line is Jared. Say what you got to say and get the fuck out.
First, you really do have to get a grasp on what is and is not a reasonable expectation. Failed expectations and flawed thinking is the foundation that Flat Earth is built on. If you want to go over in further detail, get in touch with me and we'll set something up. Peace.
All right, the next one up is Steve. Steve, say what you got to say. Get the fuck out.
Well, I guess I've been nominated to have a hangout to further continue with this, but that's completely up to part-time if he wants to. I got things I got to do, but I don't mind maybe having an hour hangout. It's completely up to you guys if you want to continue it. But if they don't want to, then I'm obviously not going to open a hangout. Do they want to?
I guess we'll find out.
I want to.
Let me know one way or another. Okay.
All right, peace. Sean, now say what you gotta say, then get the fuck out.
All right, part-time. Many flat earthers make many claims. I've actually compiled the most accepted flat earth quote-unquote model and actually built it in my backyard and tested it. If you want to see those results, go to my channel, look for the video, Flat Earth Put to the Test, and then you can get the fuck out.
All right, so now that's done. Ness, say what you gotta say and get the fuck out.
Well, a few things, part-time. As you can see here, this is the experiment that Aristophanes did. If you are saying that this doesn't imply, it only implies, or could only imply a circle instead of a curvature, then Aristophanes would be on the edge of a circle, which is asinine. And also, when you do experiments, just don't trust your eyes. Do your experiment. Sophisticated ones are very more reliable than just your eyes.
All right, Hannah, say what you gotta say and get the fuck out.
If you're going to do an experiment where you're going to stare blindly at the sun for long periods of time, do me a favor. Can you not? Because that's how you become blind. You want to become blind because that's how you become blind.
All right, cool. Sam, go ahead and say what you gotta say and get the fuck out. No, nothing. Sam, you're muted.
Oh, sorry, my internet is not the greatest because I'm connected to my school.
I see. Well, now you have to
but I mean, I just think it takes time and hard work, and it's easy, in terms of like actually thinking. I think it's easy to accept a conspiracy theory because you find it attractive.
Part-time, say what you gotta say and then get the fuck out.
Well, we have a lot of objections that were presented. I would like to obviously have access to this video to relook at the objections and do experiments myself. Right now, I'm still 50-50. The explanations I was given are predicated on certain observations I have to make myself, and I hope to hear from you guys in the future, and I will let you know my results. Thank you. Oh, and also, sorry if I was a little bit rude. I don't mean to be like rude or anything, but it's hard to talk when like 1,000 people are talking. I'm not a rude person, but sometimes I can get rude when, I'm getting cut off. But y'all have a good one.
All right, peace out. And with that, thank you very much for watching. Hana Zubi apparently has a channel that she wanted to promote, but I can't say what channel that is. So give her the next best thing. Just subscribe to the channel she's currently commenting on. And I guess that will be a nice gift for her from me, whatever. But anyway, peace out, people. Have a good one. Take care.